Hey y'all, hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Monogram 124 scale Miller Buick. Thanks for stopping by, I really appreciate it. For those that are new, my name is Darren, and as I said, this is episode 5 of a build series. I'll go ahead and link up here a card to the rest of the build series. Go ahead and check that out. And if you like what you're watching, like what you see, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. There's going to be some new content coming out. Matter of fact, I'm working on some here in conjunction with this, but there's some new content coming out that if you're into NASCAR and you like that stuff, I'm sure you'll enjoy. So please consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell so that you're notified of any future episodes or future content that I might upload. Speaking of, I told you I'm working on something in conjunction. I recently joined the Salvino's JR Builders Club. You'll see the sticker throughout the video. It's sitting on my desk here. It just kind of sits there on the desk. The Builders Club, it's a monthly kit from Salvino's, and I just recently received my first one, which is the Rainier Racing Hardee's number 28. Pretty cool kit. I'm going to do a build review of that here in the very near future. Actually, I've already started on that. I have started building this kit, the Bobby Allison number 28 Teflon car. It's a Monte Carlo. Fun build. I had actually posted in the Salvino's JR Builders group if they wanted to see a build series. They did. They responded overwhelmingly, so that is now being worked in conjunction with the Miller build here. So that video will be coming out here within the next week, episode 1 of that. So where are we with episode 5? Well, in this episode we're going to go over some of the chassis stuff that's pretty much completed. We're going to talk about a little bit about body prep and tape. We're going to talk about tape. I recently received some rice paper tape from John Geigel at Masterpiece Models, and I used it exclusively for prepping the body on this and getting it ready for the gold and the white. So we'll talk about that, as well as that masking and how I got all that stuff taped off. So this is a little bit longer video. It's just over 30 minutes. I was really wanting to keep them shorter, but you know, trying to explain things, it just and I'm long-winded. So, and that said, I'm gonna quit jabbering here. We'll go ahead and get started. If you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like to say, please let me know in the comments below. I read them all and I will get back to you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on with EP5. So here she is. She has got the chassis is all complete. The only thing I have left to do on this is the radiator hose I need to put in there. And that's really it for the top, the engine compartment. Down here I do need to put the exhaust in, and I'm working on that, so that is coming. But that is really all that is left on the chassis. As you can see in a little video here, here's a couple of pictures, and then I'll finish up here at the end of the episode with a spinny video of of the actual chassis. So what's done other than that? You know, we got the chassis all done. You can see I've got the steering wheel and all that jazz in there. It's all wired in. I'm really stoked with how the cockpit of this car came out, the driver's compartment. I think it looks really good. The roll cage, roll bar padding, I think looks really good. I'm pleasantly pleased with how it turned out. So there you go. If you have any questions on how I did any of the chassis, please let me know in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you. And if you want me to demonstrate something that I did here, I will also do that. So we'll set that off to the side, and then we'll bring in the body. So I've got pretty much all the body work done, all the fenders blended in, the front valance all blended in. Here in just a little bit we're going to be putting some rivet detail back on the front. I went ahead and sprayed red the underside. Wasn't too concerned about that because it's so hard to see, but I did want it red. And now I am in the process of just giving this a quick wet sand to smooth it down, which it's already very smooth. But if you listen, let me see if I can't get the sound here. This is the smooth side. You can maybe hear that on the mic. This is the side that I have not done yet. So it is rough. And all I do is I've got these fine pads that I bought off of Amazon. And these actually go up to from 1,500 all the way up to 12,000 grit, which I don't use near that much. Here I'm only using the 1,500, and I haven't touched the 1,800 yet because I just don't need it. A little bit of water here, and just keep my sponge wet, my paper, and I'm not even putting any force, just barely dragging it across the surface, almost like you would a clay bar, just lightly, and letting it pick up all those impurities. A lot of it is really overspray from the red from where I did the body. You can start to see the pink coming off in the water. If you push too hard on some of these corners, raised areas, you might start to burn through. But I put like 3 coats of really good solid coats of Mr. Surfacer 1000. So it's pretty tough. And I did that for a reason, because I knew I was going to go back and want to sand this, wet sand it, and try and get it smooth again after I painted it. And I'm going to do this to the paint as well, and the clear. So we got it to that point there. Let me get myself a paper towel. Let's see here. Oops. And I'll just give that a wipe. Yeah, and I can already tell the way the towel drags across it. That's smooth. So it just really, it goes in there and it knocks that flat and gives that just a really good smooth finish. Yep, real smooth. I like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish buffing on this with a little 1,500 grit. And then I'm going to go ahead and get things set up and show y'all how those Archer Fine transfers, specifically the rivets that I want to put back in this front valance, how that works. Also need to put some rivets along these headlights up here. So we're going to knock that out as well. The rivets back here I think stayed on the bumper. We'll put some on those too. So let me get this taken care of. I'll come back. I'll show you that finished product, and then we'll move on to those rivets. See you in a few. So it took me a few minutes to find these. I kind of had to put away in another kit, but these, my friends, are the Archer's Fine Transfers. And if you've never used these before, they started off, I guess they started off selling stuff for really trains and armor and things of that nature. And you can see by this decal sheet, what this is resin on decal transfer. And these are all, let me zoom in here, these are all like access panels, different types of access panels. And of course these, which would need piano hinge, you have all the piano hinge down here. Pretty cool stuff. I actually use some of these fuel access panels for my RF5 Tiger Eye that's sitting up there. But they also do rivet details. And this sheet here, as you can see, is all raised rivets. Different types. These are all, looks like 4 in a shot. Long lines of them over on this side. different sizes, so on and so forth. I have some here that I cut right here. These are going to be perfect for the front valance. This strip right here, it's almost perfect, as you can see those across there. So what I'm going to do is I am going to get the car here and pull off, which I do have taped up already, and I'm just going to stick these on here. The original one did not go all the way across. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I am going to go grab the one from my donor kit, which I have right here. So they only go across from the corner to the corner, and so that's what I'm going to do, corner to corner. And let me find which one it was again. That's two. There it is right there. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and measure that now from that one to this one. It's that long. I will go ahead and snip that like so, and we'll give her a dunk in the water. Where are my tweezers? And we're going to go ahead and just hold on to the edge here. And you know, something I like to do with these folks, so down here on the end where that first road's going to be, I'm just going to score that a little bit without going all the way through, because I'm going to grab that in there with the tweezers, and I want to make sure that the decal will slide off of that. I'm going to pick them up, hold it like so. You can see it's not going to zoom in very good there, but you can see it over here on the side camera, and into my water we go. We're just going to get it wet, and I'm going to let that sit for a second till it loosens up. So while we're letting that get ready, I think I'll have myself a little sipperini. Now while that's going, one other place we need to have these is going to be here across the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a couple of these larger pieces up here, and we're going to fill those in, and put our decal, our rivet stuff back in here. The beautiful thing about these is you just put them on the put them onto the primer and paint right over the top of it, no problem. So there you go. Look, you can see they're all on there. They're straight. Those are going to dry, and once those dry, oh, goodness gracious, I got tape everywhere. Once those dry, we're going to be able to shoot that white, and they'll be locked in there forever. So yeah, the rivets are in there. I am going to go off camera now, and I'm going to go ahead and rivet the lights back, and here again, I'm just going to come back and show you the completed rivets once it's all completed, and then when I do come back, I'm going to be ready to shoot some white paint all back here, and get ready to start adding the color, my friends. So I will see y'all in the blink of an eye. To pop back in here for just a second to talk about paint. So as you can see on here, I started spraying the white on here, and I got to tell you, I'm really impressed with these model car finish paints. They are super paints. They're hard, and they go on really smooth. Of course, I did have the surface here as smooth as I could get it, but really impressed. But that aside, I didn't stop to think before I started spraying white that I have sprayed a lot of red. And I'm going to sit this here so you can kind of see. I know I can see it, but there is certainly a red tint in this paint. there comes a time when you need to clean your airbrush, and this was one of them. Now I've gone back and cleaned it out, and I mean, I really, if you look at the chassis, that's a lot of red. There's a lot of red inside here, and yes, I was blowing this out and shooting again, and really with darker colors, black and grays, I'm not too worried about it, but it really shows in the white paint. So just a PSA, before you shoot these lighter colors, make sure you give a really good cleaning. I know that I'm probably preaching to the choir, but I really felt that I needed to pop on, and even if it did make myself look a little stupid, keep you guys from going through the aggravation I'm fixing to go through of repainting another coat. So there you go. Rant over. On with the show. Okay, I saw the other day on one of the Facebook groups, they were talking about tape, and I thought I'd just touch on it just very briefly, being that I'm fixing to start masking our body here in just a second, getting ready for the gold. So there's a couple different types of tape that were talked about, and one was washi tape, and you know, I'm gonna link to Will Patson's video here. He really goes in depth about washi tape and the types of tape, and this is a true washi tape. It's one that he recommends in his video. I did buy this. It took a long time to get it in because it came from, I think, Japan, and in the middle of this Corona deal, it just took a long time. So this is the quote-unquote washi tape. Don't be fooled by imitations. There's also the Tamiya tape. A lot of people recommend it, and hey, it's good tape. It's expensive, but it's good tape. The next is rice paper tape, and you know, John Geigel over at Masterpiece Models sent me this rice paper tape, and I got to tell you, I really like it. Rice paper, and it comes in different sizes: 1 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and what's this other one here I've got is 1/8 inch. Right? I like using all of them. They all have their applications, but to me, this is one of my favorites. Is the 1 inch, because this with my Infinity cutter here, I cut pretty much the size that I want. But one of the things I really like, there's actually several things I really like about this tape. One is it's very thin, and we're going to try this because that's what I'm going to mask this car body with. As you can see, it's you can almost see through it. It's very thin. It's very adhesive. I've been using it. I haven't had any problem with adhesive sticking to the paint, but it stays where I need it. And I'm thinking, as thin as this is, it's really going to help to keep those paint lines from popping. Now, thin tape helps, right? And compared to the Tamiya tape, it is a lot thinner than the Tamiya tape. So, so far so good. So what we're going to do here, I'm just going to go ahead and take some of this in. And this tool right here, this Infinity tool is probably one of my favorite tools in my toolbox here, because I can take this and put this tape down, and I just line it up with this outside line and get it straight, like so, and a sharp X-Acto knife, and I can drag it across this top here, and we'll take it down here. Just drag it, and I mean, I could pull that off. It leaves a nice clean cut, as so. And now I can see all my markings. So this, you got a 1.0 millimeter, 0.9, 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, 0.5, and all the way down to 0.4. So you can get this really, really thin. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with 1 millimeter, because all I'm wanting to do, I'll show you here in a second, I'm going to do some tacking. So I'm just going to drag that all the way down to 1 millimeter. I'll go ahead and do 1 more millimeter. Just drag it down, sharp X-Acto. And now I can cut these whatever length I want, right? So we can go right here. Actually, we need to come from the other direction. So zip right through, and now I've got little slivers of tape that are a millimeter long that I can use for masking. I mean, I absolutely love this tool, and they sell them in all different types. This is a type A. They got like a type B, a type C that either has curves or what have you. So check them out. I think it's really a cool tool, and check out Masterpiece Models over there, masterpiecemodels.com. There's the web address. I'll also put a link to it in the description below. Good stuff, this tape, and we're gonna do some more tests on it as we go through and tape this body. So what are we doing now? We're gonna get ready to mask for our gold paint, and as you know, looking at this picture of the car, there's some stripes that go, and we're using those. Those are going to be decals. Now, my decals that came with this kit were destroyed. They were destroyed by water, and here they are. You can see, yeah, they're all wrinkled and in pretty bad shape, water stains. But these are going to be our decals that we're going to be installing, and we need a mask for those, right? So I went out and I bought a set from Mike's decals. These are the power slides, really good decals. That you've heard me talk about them before. I can't rave about them enough. So what I did is I went and I Xerox copied the decal sheet, and using these as a guide as to where my decal film is, I cut out the decals in question just with a sharp pair of scissors. These are the ones that I'm going to be marking for. Okay, this is going to be on the left side of the car. So Xerox them off, cut them out. I've got my tape here now cut as thin as I want it. I'm going to go ahead and make a couple more little slits of tape. Now I will take the car, and I need to get this in here using my reference pictures. Get this kind of where it needs to be. I'll use this diagram here, and you can see that this goes just below the A pillar, below here, and over that fender. And when I get it to where I think it's going to be pretty close, I'm just going to put a little strip of tape to hold it down, if I can get it on there. So like so. Let me get another one. It's probably best to get these prepared prior to trying to put these on there. But let's see, if I put that up there like that, get another one, and go down here like this. And I think you're starting to get the picture here, right? So we're just gonna put these on here, and what that's gonna allow us to do is make some marks and get everything lined up, because now I can take this one and I can come off the fender, and here again using, so it needs to go below, right? So that's telling me that I've got either, this one might not be right where it needs to be, because this needs to go below the filler. Okay, like so, and then it's going to wrap around. Now this is kind of screwy the way this is working, because there's my corner. So they may make these a little bit longer than what they're needed so that you can adjust, is going to be my guess. Yep, that's going to be a good guess, Darren. So we'll go ahead and tack that one. And we're going to just make adjustments as we need to get these in the right place, and then come back and make some marks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish taping this. I'm going to go ahead and tape the other side, get everything lined up, and I'm going to come back and show you the marks that I'm talking about so that we can get our tape line. So I will be back in just a few minutes. Man, oh man, what a tape job, huh? So a little bit more difficult to figure out that paint layout than I thought it was going to be. It looks like it's all pretty straight, but to try and get it the same on both sides, the measurements and everything the same, that was quite a chore. But I think we are there, and everything is mask off. I did use exclusively the Masterpiece Models tape, and I am impressed so far. I haven't unmasked yet, so that will be the telltale sign is once I go to take the stuff off to see if it pulls any tape. I did give this a fresh coat of white this morning because remember I had the pink tint on it. So it has not had a full 24 hours to cure, so we'll see how that comes out. I also stand corrected. That is Model Car World, not Model Car Finishes. Model Car World Automotive Finishes, and that's what I'm going to be shooting here in just minutes. The place are gold. But I wanted to show you all the tape job, talk just a little bit about the tape, and I've done that. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and spray this, and you guys are welcome to tag along. I'll keep it on. I'll just kind of do a fast forward here if you like. I'm going to go ahead and break in if there's anything of interest. So here we go. She is. She's all done up. As you can see, I've got the gold and the white all in there. I did buff this, and all I used to do, folks, buff was my Tamiya paste. I didn't go crazy buffing it out. It was already somewhat shiny, and of course I'm going to do some clear on it once I get the decals down. Now real quick, I did get a step in my paint here, and that step was by no means from fault of the tape. That was my fault. I failed to realize just how translucent this gold paint is, and it took a lot of coats to get this blended in between where it was white in the back and gray in the front. So due to the multiple layers of paint, I did get a small step, but I'm not too worried about it. It's not a big deal because that's going to be underneath my decals, and you'll never even know it was there. I got the front painted. Now I want to bring this in. I want to show you something on the front, because in the earlier segment y'all saw me using my Archer decals, rivets, and I went across the front here, and I decided I didn't like that because I'm doing a road race version of this car, something that would have been run at the Glen or out at Riverside, so it's going to have big vents in the front, so I ended up taking those off. But you can see faintly, I did a little dry brushing up here, but you can see the rivets back in the headlight covers, and those are those Archer fine detail rivets. So they really do a good job. Let's see if you can see it better over here. Maybe. But I really like them. I use them for a bunch of different things. Also did just a little bit of dry brushing. Now the camera makes it look a little funny, but this was very stark. It was when it was just flat black, it needed something, a little texture, a little something to pop. So a little light gray dry brush on the front, and that just kind of brings out some of the details. So what's left on this? Well, I got to paint these back here. I've got to detail these. That's going to come in the next episode, in the final episode, which will be the reveal. So you won't see this again. The next time you see it, it'll be all decaled and cleared. But going into that, reveal episode, I am going to talk a little bit about the windshield and the side windows, because I'm not a big fan of these built-in braces, and we're going to be taking those out. I'm going to sand them out, and I'm going to repolish all this. I'm not going to use Future. I'm just going to buff it and polish it with sandpaper, and I'm going to show you all how that's done, or how I do it. It's the same way I do aircraft canopies. So we're going to talk about that in the next episode and do a little reveal. You'll see the whole thing finished. So until the next episode, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you, and y'all be good to each other, and let's be safe. So peace out and good night. And here are a few pictures of the car so far.